Welcome back to Casino Guitars. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Baxter.
Today we're going to talk about something that's very, very, very important. It's not true at all. We're going to talk about the top 5 MTV Unplugged episodes.
Jonathan, I think it is very important
important
because some of these episodes we're going to talk about, to my parents' chagrin, affected my life greatly.
They did mine too. The other cool thing about this, right, is in a lot of ways, this brought acoustic guitar back into the world.
You were very true. I didn't even think we were going to talk about it. You're right. It did.
Because,
it was dead.
I could have cared less about acoustic in a lot of ways until I watched some of these.
When I saw Great White playing Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. No, I mean, I don't know, because I was a kid when this came, so I was like, ooh,
Right.
Led Zeppelin's doing an MTV Unplugged. I was so excited. It's like they look a lot different than I thought they would. Later I found out there was a band called Great White.
Right. A little different.
Which is also an awesome band in its own right.
Yeah.
It is.
For sure.
But Zeppelin is Zeppelin. Anyway.
It's hard to compare, yeah.
So I guess we're going to start. We're going to start chalking them down. Number 5. I'm going to start with number 5.
Whew.
You guys ready?
Drum roll.
Dun, dun, dun. We're going to say number 5, Oasis. Now,
I feel like we need a disclaimer. Baxter loves Oasis with his whole heart.
You weren't going to say that,
He
right?
loves them with his whole heart. You just need to know that. Be kind.
Okay, I do. Because it's not the top for the reasons we might all think
No,
it is.
it's our opinion.
So, well, and it's just not just opinion, because it's one of the top 5, because we think it's hilarious that Liam didn't sing in it. The lead singer of Oasis did not sing in their MTV Unplugged because he was being quite a bit of a
little bit.
and that was beeped out, I assume. You're going to beep that out, right? Thank you.
Here's hoping.
Can we do that? Can we do
Sure,
that? Is this rated G?
Yes.
I was getting in my Liam character. So I'll do the stories on this because I am an Oasis diehard. I think it's funny. And like Oasis is at the top of their game. This is in 1996. Their Bang Out record came out. They're following up on the heels of that. So MTV's going over to UK. There's a thing on YouTube. Watch it about like the making of this. It's hilarious. Liam shows up to the first rehearsal a week before. He's drunk-ish and then wearing a green outfit. And then he shows up the next day, he's drunker, wearing the same outfit, a little bit less. And he shows up the next day, he's drunk, wearing the same outfit. He shows up the next day, he doesn't show up actually. And so they get to the next day and the show's there, and they do rehearsal. Liam has been on a bender, and he can't even sing. There's footage of him like he's knows like blanking, blah, 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 blah. And so they do the show without Liam.
Liam ain't going to be with us tonight because he's got sore throat.
They just tape the shit, and then, but the band doesn't know this, Noel doesn't know this. Liam is in the audience, and he starts heckling his brother.
Shut up.
And so, for this reason alone, and it's a great performance. You see Noel, because Noel writes all the songs.
Right.
And so to actually see the songwriter write and sing his own songs, which you never
cool.
really do, it's performed in a very different way, and we have this captured in time at 96, which is sort of their peak of like Oasis fan fame, and everybody forgets they were like massive rock stars,
right.
like everywhere, and bad boys. They make our little bands today that think they're bad boys look like little babies. Like, we're tough and emo. It's like, no, they were doing drugs with the Queen on camera.
They're no One Direction, but
yeah.
but
I secretly kind of don't mind One Direction either. I mean, I think Harry Styles is
whatever.
the jam. I think he's awesome.
It's great. It's
He
great.
is.
Great music.
I'm excited for his next record. I can't believe I just said that, but I really am. I'm probably going to check it out. And
There's going to be the best comments about that.
No, I know. Well, one of my old students is like working with it too, and he says it's awesome. He's 18, so that's awesome. Anyway,
kind of
it's another story. He'll probably watch this video and be like, you can't say that. Why am I British all of a sudden? Because I'm not. Anyway, Oasis, 1996. That's my first number 5. Jonathan?
Number 4
was a tiebreaker.
It was a tie. We had a long discussion. Derek, who is the man working the magic behind the camera, he loves one of our bands. I was a little partial to the other band who was contending for.
But don't leave us
4.
waiting. Tell us.
So our ties are the Grunge Kings, Alice in Chains, and Pearl Jam.
Awesome.
Both great performances. The thing I think I love so much about the Pearl Jam is the drummer's like, I'm just gonna go. He's back there.
We were watching it yesterday, and I was like, what is happening?
Like, what is going on?
It's like a rehearsal, and no one told him.
Acoustic. He's like, no, just getting after it. Eddie's voice is amazing. The songs are amazing.
His voice is amazing.
It is amazing.
And he is so good looking.
He's a very pretty man.
It is. It's like better looking than Jim Morrison in a strange way. Now we'll get some comments on that probably too, which is fine. Jim Morrison's gorgeous, obviously. Talk about how gorgeous these people are lately. But no, Eddie Vedder's like super attractive. His voice is
It's
great.
just always, love it or hate it, it's just always so good. You never hear him in there go like, oh wow, he sounded horrible today. Nope, he always sounds like Eddie Vedder.
And that whole concert, it is a smooth. It's a pretty mesmerizing concert. It inspired a lot of kids in that time to pick up a guitar too.
It did. And I mean, I was just the acoustic part. Those songs, I feel like what's magical to me about both these bands is I don't know if I would have imagined that the parts in those songs, those grungy, heavy rock, guitar parts with those kind of industrial tones, that they would translate so well into acoustic guitar parts.
Yeah, like Alice in Chains, when they do like the Rooster, it's
awesome, man.
It's awesome. It's like the background, the vocals. They were, as we noticed too, and we didn't mention Oasis, the guitars they were playing, which is funny. It's the time of Takamine.
Yeah.
It's like, and then someone was playing an Ovation, I think, in Alice in Chains.
I feel like that's true.
Or was that Pearl Jam? I think it was Pearl Jam playing an Ovation.
I can't remember, but yeah, not necessarily the acoustics today that we think,
No, it was Takamine ruled. Okay, we're moving on to number 3.
Number 3.
This was a double feature act. This was in 1990, so MTV Unplugged was fairly new at this point. They only had about, I think, 5 performances up to this point.
Yep.
So people were just kind of catching on. And this was one where Joe Satriani was playing, but also with this fella named Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'd probably say it's the most magical acoustic performance solo I may have ever seen in some ways.
I think that's true, man. It was so good. You talked about it skewing one way. I think he overshadowed. I mean, I love Satriani.
Satriani is one of their great guitar players.
He's an amazing guitar player, but SRV was so good that night.
It was one of those magical moments where he grabbed his big old Guild 12 string, and this is a neat little story too. I'll tell it connected with it. And when he finished playing it, the guitar techs were shocked because he abused it so hard. They felt the neck got bent a little bit because he's an aggressive man.
He is.
And you see it in the performance, and you see him sweating and dripping on the guitar, and his voice, and like when he's playing so fast and magical, and it breaks my heart when I talk about it because like we lost him way too soon. But if you haven't seen it, check it out.
You have to watch it. It's history.
If you're a guitar player, or even if you don't like Stevie Ray Vaughan, it's like a lot of guys I've met that don't like SRV, that are into guitar, they just don't like his studio recordings. And I'm like, okay, I can understand that. It's a little sedate maybe for you, even though they're masterworks of art. But watch his live performance.
And that one is so. I mean, all his performances are so passionate, but that one, it is magical. Is the right word.
Well, I mean, that's what. Like, I was a young kid when that was it. It was like, bam, I'm a guitar player now for sure. Like I didn't know that. And he had the big poofy, late '80s looking Bill Cosby shirt on. Like he was on like a different world. With the Cosbys and everything. It was fantastic. But SRV. So let's move on. Now, God, we're on number
2 already.
So 2 and 1's tough.
It was almost a toss-up.
It can go either way, but we are a guitar shop.
We are.
And like we're guitar fiends, and so. But number 2 is could be number 1 as easily. So let us know.
Nirvana. Absolutely iconic. Out-of-tune guitars. But just magical performance by a guy who writes really awesome songs. And they just went out and just killed it, man. I mean, it was just, I remember, I don't know, what year was that one? That was 94?
94, yeah, 94.
94? Yeah, I mean.
You were a wee lad.
I was a pretty wee lad, but I remember watching that. I don't even know how much they were on my radar before that. Do you know what I mean? But I was definitely watching MTV. I was definitely, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, whatever was on MTV, then you just watched it. It was just on.
I was talking with Derek earlier too. It's like back those days, kids, if any kids are watching, like you had to actually go watch the show when it came on.
Oh yeah, there was no DVR.
If we heard, it's like, oh God, that's on Friday night at 9 o'clock. I got to be home at Friday night.
Yes.
Which was not a problem because I was a nerd. Still am. But no, that was a magical performance because you've never seen like a grunge band this is the biggest band in the world. They changed music at that point. They destroyed hair metal was over when Nirvana came out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they were huge. They were just they were it. And you've never heard them without 12 guitars overstacked and like 10 vocals overstacked. And it's Kurt, and Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters back there, Chris on bass. and he's playing like it was a 50s D18. Yeah, I think it was a 59. Was that a 59? Yeah, it's a 59 D18 with like volume knobs on it, DeArmond pickups on there. Yeah, I mean it's this beat to hell guitar. Which another sad story on that is I think his daughter just had to go through a divorce, and it was her guitar, and she had to give it to her ex-husband as part of the divorce settlement, which I think is a sin upon sins.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
care what you think you deserve.
Cool. That's not cool.
Family.
Right. Agreed.
Gosh, be a man. So if you're watching this, I want to talk to you, young man.
We disapprove.
Give that guitar back, and
Don't be mean.
Go get a job.
Yeah.
For goodness sake. Anyway, so yeah, that performance. Again, watch all these, but you have to watch that one too.
They're just like we said, has become pop culture history, you know.
And number one, it's not what some of you might think. It is not Justin Bieber.
No.
He actually didn't.
Although we talked about it.
And he didn't actually do an MTV Unplugged at all. So I was hoping somebody was frantically searching.
Just gonna.
Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton.
It's that I feel like that sort of transformed not only acoustic guitars and how we viewed what could be done in music. It transformed Eric Clapton's career. It sort of it signified a shift.
It did.
From his his hard rockin', so not hard rock, he's
He's electric bluesy,
journeyman and stuff and whatnot. And he's going, and that it just changed everything.
I think a lot of people started to see him as a songwriter, especially with the Tears in Heaven stuff and the acoustic version of Layla. It changed some perceptions. Another thing, right? So again, me at that time, I don't even think I probably wasn't even playing guitar yet.
Well, that was '92, so it's 2 years.
Yeah, so I wasn't playing guitar yet, but in a lot of ways, that was my introduction to Eric Clapton. I think a lot of people, that was their introduction to him.
Well, because you go back and watch it, like Clapton's been so many Claptons throughout history, and you see him come out in this nice like suit. He looks, and he's got his hair sort of short, longish, with glasses on and his beard. He almost looks like a college professor.
He does.
And his band looks like college professors.
They're all,
You would know, you're the college person here, apparently.
That's right. Almost 2 years, baby.
And then they come out and they play this music. And he starts off with a Jose Ramirez, and I think he's playing Signs, and it sounds phenomenal. Like, I don't understand why this sounds so good.
Right.
And they're doing this dual guitar part with another phenomenal guitar player, and then he shifts into his triple aughts. He has the two triple aughts. He has a triple aught 42 and a triple aught 28. The triple aught 28 actually had 45 appointments on it for you guitar nerds, guitar obsessives like we are. But that triple aught, the first one I mentioned, that ended up selling for over $700,000 back. When did it sell? It was the highest priced guitar. It was 2004.
Yeah, that was an absurd amount for a guitar. I mean, it still is. But
it's probably double that.
Right,
now.
Easily.
But no guitar's ever sold for that much. And he did all that for charity. But that's a side point. Just you have to watch the entire, like all these licks that we as like sort of blues rock guitar players picked up. We picked up from this show.
I remember learning that first little Spanishy lead that he does in the acoustic version of Layla on that show. And it just climbs. I mean, that's forever emblazoned into my brain.
That 5/4-to-1 turn that he does on like several of the songs, and the old-timey blues stuff in the second half of the CD, because it was a CD. It was a really long CD, and a DVD or video, or if you're really lucky, if you're really wealthy, you could get a DVD. Right. But no,
don't be crazy.
I just remember this.
Don't get crazy.
So now what we want from you guys is any comments on these particular shows, or the ones that you thought we might have missed, because it was tough. There's a lot of great ones. This just happened to be the ones we thought were really, really cool.
It was not the most scientifically compiled list. This was just
not at all
off the top of our heads.
I mean, the toughest was when we get out to guys like Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, because they're in the same camp.
Right.
But they're both so good. Let's put them together.
Both great.
And there's some other great ones, like you go back and look at, like, I know I'm going to scare some people, like Mariah Carey's when she did the Jackson 5, I'll Be There. That was a huge hit and a wonderful arrangement. But Clapton, he takes the cake.
How do you beat that? Yeah.
Can't really beat Clapton. So, Baxter and Jonathan.
Let us know what you think. Click like, subscribe, press the bell. See our new videos.
Casino Guitars. Shaking his hands again. Hey, thanks guys for watching.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Bye.